Nicely timed, Drax. Just starting, mate. Hello everyone. Welcome to today's stream. We shall paint this lady. Fair bit of resculpting on her, yes. I sculpted the wind. So her hand normally covers the chest. Bit chilly tonight, mate. Okay, Wampa, thank you for the subscription. Let us begin. Roll the sleeves up and get stuck in. So I've got some pictures to show off of this particular scene. So first of all, here's a video. This is no different to the video I showed on last stream yesterday, but yeah, just for those who may not have seen what we're up against. So this scene is the final scene before we get into the building the bridge between the scenes that have been completed. So, but this one is a natural scene with a lot of trees and plants and so on. But I want Morgana to feel very unnatural. So I'm going to be doing her in some pretty intense colours. Tried to keep Merlin relatively natural looking. Still a fair bit to go on him, but yeah. So let's do a little. Let's do a couple of little pictures, shall we? So this is what we are looking at. G'day Shadow Ouvre. So this is what we're looking at for the final scene. So it's very, very green, very warm, and very bright. So we're not going to have a lot of intense magic light because there's natural light, so the lighting won't be as intense. G'day Alex. But I do need to start intense and then sort of work back from there. So still some work to go on Merlin, but he looks relatively good. But yeah, you can see how there's all natural colours. So Morgana's going to be red. She's going to be having red magic. So we've got the Harry Potter duel going on. And yeah, very unnatural colours. So I'm gonna filter Merlin more with some greens and some warm colours. But for the moment, I just wanted to get started. Okay, Marzipan on Morgana. So we could, yeah, have a sense of what was happening. Then this one. Sorry, just gonna find my picture. Copy. Yeah, pretty much, but won't be as strong. And yeah, this is the scene for Merlin, for Arthur and Percival. G'day Leroy. So yeah, everything's starting to come together now. Where we have the challenge now is fusing the 5 scenes together so they create an interesting viewing experience. Finishing off the detail in all of those scenes, and then making sure that the models are all fully finished and painted, of which 0 of them are at the moment. So, g'day Tui. So you can actually see just behind me all the work that's been done. I made some space so we could put it behind because it was more accessible there anyway. So. On a bit of a low ebb today, friends, in case you hadn't noticed, so that's okay. I just really wanted to paint some toy soldiers, so I thought I would do it with some company. No comment, Wampa. No comment. But we're painting toy soldiers. And that is one of the great joys in life. Thanks, mate. Better do a shout out for, thanks mate, no I'm okay. Not something that can be helped by talking. Traxy. Forgot to do your shout out mate. Oh, a couple of days friends, I'll be on the up. Exactly, there's many positives to painting little toy soldiers. So that is what we shall do. We shall have a good time whilst doing it. So we'll try and paint broadly. Oh, Pascal, that's unfortunate. Broadly speaking, what we're going for is an evil-looking colour palette. So we're going to have a very purple skin tone. We're going to have red magic. We're going to have black outfits. So it should be a evil-looking thing to contrast with this, which I'm hoping will swing more towards natural colours as we continue working on him. This scene's actually going to be really fun to do because of the foliage. So I'm going to be gluing heaps of trees and stuff down, or plants and stuff down soon to the base, which will then airbrush. But we'll do the skin tone and a few other areas first before we start bringing in some of that red with the airbrush. So get the general lighting down first, and then worry about the directional lighting afterwards. In this fight, you mean? Oh yeah, there's a lot happening. The birds are on our side too though, mate. Just got the ravens on our side. The Green Knight's a bit ambiguous whose side he's on. He's just hanging out. Look, I think the birds are just going to be black. The whole palette for her, I want it to be very evil. So I don't want there to be a lot of colour. There will be colour, but I don't want there to be a lot of it. it's all looking really good, I think. We're really in deep now, and this sort of period of time is pretty make or break on the whole effect, because I could glue it all together probably in the next day or two, assuming I finish the Green Knight pretty quickly. But the issue with doing that is that we can't elevate each of those things. Yeah, there's a number of good books and stuff, but I mean, Morgana was not necessarily a bad person, although she's characterised that way in most stories. But she may have just been a sprite or a wood nymph type thing. G'day, Jan. Yeah, there's lots of different stories. I'm only going off my recollections as opposed to doing any research, but didn't really need there to be really concrete storytelling going on. The models tell a story, I think. Which colour are you talking about, mate? Yes, that is my understanding of it as well. Haven't seen you in a while. Minimef, how's everything going, mate? Is Tolkien's version of Gawain and the Green Knight the one that the upcoming movie's based on? Anybody know, or is that still a wait and see? It's all in the palette here, mate. There's a purple, there's a red, purpley skin, and there's a skin. So I just mixed up through it. You can re-watch the stream and see exactly how I did it if you want, but it's pretty straightforward. It's going to get more complex when I start doing some airbrushing in a minute though. Nicker Jags. How are you, buddy? Sorry to hear that, mate. COVID's done some weird things to the work environments in most workplaces. How'd you go, buddy? I think I'm going to do white hair for her. That'll look interesting, I think. Pretty happy with this resculpting that I did on this. I think I did a better job on this one than I did on Merlin. I wonder why that is. I don't really like the Merlin model, you know. The paint job is adequate, but it's going to be hard to keep pushing on it. Thanks for all, Jim. Yeah. Did some stolen arm from another model. G'day, Rowie. Yeah, it was made off stream, mate. I sculpted it. So it's made out of milliput. I had a piece of wire. So this front bit is a plastic bit from a model that I had. Just this bit here. So I strung a piece of wire around that. Hey, Robbie's Hobbies. And then sculpted it. So I wanted it to look not fully solid. So if you look in there, you can see through it, and if you look from behind, there's bits. If you look through, there's some holes and stuff. So I didn't want it to be fully solid. It's supposed to be some sort of magical energy beam. No, mate, did you send it my way, did you? Must have got the address wrong. I actually considered making a resin cast of that. I was actually contemplating some LEDs, but in the end I decided that I would stick with traditional painting across the whole model, whole piece. Well, I'll let it slide this time, right? Yeah, it's a tough ask, isn't it? Did it once and it was quite a lot of fun, sort of building it up and working out how to do them. But yeah, I haven't really wanted to do it since that experience. It's like, yeah, that was fun, but yeah, I'm a shocker for blood effects. I have to do that shit all the time. I'm actually contemplating buying a smoke machine, fog machine, and tucking it in the middle behind the big tree, so we have some smoke effects for a video. I reckon that'd look pretty cool. No, it doesn't have a way of stopping, aside from pressing the stop button. Which I assume works fairly adequately. Which one, mate? Which Bunnings? Yeah, see if they got a fog machine. Gregory, believe it or not, that is what I was looking at. And there's a dude on that who linked on that tutorial for one that he made himself for 65 or 70 bucks or something. Because the problem with that other one is it's very cheap to make if you have a fucking soldering kit, which Big Dano does not have. So I could go and buy a soldering kit and make my own, which would probably cost me however much it costs to solder and learn how to solder, and the time investment of such. Or I can just purchase one for 60 bucks or however the fuck much it was, and then it's done. And I can just plug that fucker in and everybody wins. But again, it comes down to how much of this terrain building lark I want to get into. Because I have to say that it has been quite fun indeed building the diorama. I didn't think I would enjoy it as much as I did. Putting little bits and bobs around there and, you know, thinking about angles. Mind you, I'm not very good at it. I just use a lot of bits. 100% correct, mate. Bunnings snags all time. G'day Macca. What's going on? Alright, so just remember as always, the viewing angles that we're talking about. Bunnings is the name of a shop, hardware store that we have. Very good hardware store. And they set up a thing for non-profit organisations or fundraising activity organisations could come and set up a little sausage sizzle out the front of their shops, and it ended up being a wildly popular activity. And so now pretty much anytime you go to a Bunnings hardware store, there will be some organisation standing out the front cooking up sausages and giving them to you in bread with onions and sauce. And the Australian slang for sausage is a snag. And so a Bunnings snag is, as discussed, a sausage sold to you out the front of a hardware store. And I don't know how, but they're fucking delicious. Like, they always taste really good. I don't know if there's a secret to it, but they're fucking delicious. Might just be the fact that you're having a sausage on bread, which are also fucking delicious. G'day Chris, how are you mate? Diorama is coming along mate. Diorama is coming along very nicely. That looks about right. And now we make the magic happen. Thanks mate. Yeah, that was quite a fun sculpt that I did. Alright, so this is a high value mid-tone and we are going to use it to just gently blend out all of my shit highlighting. Hopefully leave some of that interesting texture. And the contrast. Oh, whoa, whoa, magic. No. That is exactly what I mean, yes. Exactly. Precisely. So the second layer I'm doing is re-adding some of the shadow and some nuance with a dark colour, and I'm gonna fuck it up a little bit, it looks like, but that's okay. We can always redo it. The strength of this technique that I'm using now is that you can continue back and forth because you've got that layer underneath. There's intense colour sitting underneath what you're doing, so you don't have to work as hard if you're airbrushing. You can be a lot more dilute. So you're talking about Mayweather versus Logan Paul. I saw the highlights. I wouldn't call it a fight, really. Well, Kung Fu Shrew, that is practice for you, mate. That's lucky. I wish I didn't. So one of the ways you can sort out your values, your highest areas, the problem that you're having, right, is you've got pastel desaturated colour. So what you want to do is add a translucent layer of a more intense colour over the top. The real winner out of this is his old mate Floyd Money Mayweather, who has just danced around a ring for 8 rounds, barely copping a punch, and getting paid $100 million. I think I'm in the wrong game, friends. Yeah. Apparently that's what his take will be. He was quoted as saying, "Oh yes, no, if he's not the greatest of all time, he's definitely in the conversation." But no, he was quoted as saying, "I'm not a. I've retired from professional boxing, but I haven't retired from being an entertainer." So this is peanut butter, my favourite colour for this particular task. So what I'm doing is I'm taking that pale colour. G'day, Nates. And just super thin glazes over it. Yeah, it warms the skin up. It brings the value slightly down, but not a lot. Just gives it a bit more life. The pastel colour. Yeah, I agree. With pretty much every comment there. Oh mate, I love Ruben Martinez. He may be my favourite painter of all time at the moment. So you can see we've smoothed out a lot of the roughness. We haven't smoothed it all out. We could, but we're not going to. This is Volupus Pink. Again, because I wanted to be evil looking. Add a lot of pink to the skin. G'day, Forks Art. Hey, didn't you do a charity stream the other day? How did that go? Someone give Forks Art a shout out. Yeah, James Waffle's oil painting is tremendous. The piece from just go to Big Child's Instagram, mate. It's a fantastic example of the light influencing the environment. Good. Good work, champion. Yeah, Ruben's just got a great vision at the moment. Great vision. I have seen it, yes. For new friends who just joined and haven't seen this is what we're working on. I like having this video just available to pop up. It's good. Is that robot chick from thingy? Nico? So we're going to go with the tried and tested black, gold and red. There's the Cryptscene in the picture if you haven't seen it. My concern with this scene that I'm working on now is actually the OSL, such a strong effect, such a powerful effect. I didn't really want there to be like an overload of OSL across the model, the whole diorama. because I feel like it can just grab your attention a bit too much. But as I've sort of got into this one with the magical effects and stuff, I had a good suggestion on Twitter actually, which will probably get added to the Roll of Honour. Maybe I'll do that now. Having some levitating rocks in this scene, like the magic is pulling rocks up from the ground around them. Could be cool. Thanks, Seaborg28. Yeah, so I'm still not sure what to do with Arthur's sword. I was contemplating doing white OSL. That's a good thought. Ethereal birds. Maybe do the birds red, like they're part of the magic. Oof. Get your name on the Roll of Honour for that one, champion. There's the current Camelot Roll of Honour, if you're interested in seeing whose name's on the list currently. G'day, Raisinese. Yeah, so there's a blank section of the wall. I'll just play the video again. Just alongside, underneath here, under there. So I was thinking I might write everyone's names on there. That might be cool, eh? Well, it hasn't finished yet, mate, so let's hope that the last few efforts come out well. Started on the 10th of May. So I think today is actually the 4-week anniversary. Thank you, Amuro Pam 2. Friends, all I'll say is the value of practice. I've practiced, hey Voodoo, I've practiced this technique and the way that I approach painting for a number of years, and that results in my process speeding up and getting things done quicker. Which then results in more practice. I'm of the firm opinion that anyone can achieve this. Look at you, Wes, you achieved painting a model. It's very cool. Yes, I do have Oompa Loompas working for me. Good for you, Gregory. We would love to see it, mate. G'day, Elenia. It is indeed a bit cold, mate, yeah. I mean, it's not Canberra or anything like that, but yeah, I'm just a bit chilly. It's very comforting to wear a jumper sometimes. Alright, fuck it. Let's do some red. Not quite. Sure, mate. Well, those are two cool colours. Tenebrous Grey and Middle Stage from AK 3rd Gen. What colour hair is it supposed to be? In that case, yeah, the highlight is too big. The hair looks blue, not black. So you probably want to try and bring the highlights to be smaller, have more black. Yeah, skin tone's good. My problem with the leather is the similar value to the skin tone, but I really like the face and the beard. That's neat. Keep chipping away. Keep chipping away. Potentially dark leather would work. Say a common approach is you go pale skin and then you go a dark leather colour alongside it, so you have a nice separation, nice contrast. But there's many ways you can approach it, mate. question I'm asking myself at the moment is, do I want to do some spiral tattoos like the box art has, or do I just let this scene do the talking for them? G'day, Sleepy Slang. Yeah, that's sort of why I was hesitating. There's just a lot happening. Worried if we go some more tattoos or some tattoos in the scene, it may overpower, but at the same time, it may be really cool. Good. 2 is enough of a consensus. That is true. I can indeed. I am not a pro painter, not by any definition. I do not do it as a profession, nor am I a pro at the painting. I am at best a rank amateur. Yep, semi-pro. I don't recall that, mate. Did you watch those videos? CTF is back. Where are you back from, mate? Nice. I got a flag in this scene. We can all play capture Galahad's flag. Very good. You know, after I finish this model, we have only the Green Knight left to paint. Well, technically they all still have work that needs to be done, but he's the last. It's not finished yet, is it? But I just want it noted for the record. I said the entire project would take me 3 months. And thus far, the painting has only taken a month. But I definitely spent probably 2 to 3 weeks building, assembling the models and all that sort of gear in the last few months. So I reckon we're probably roughly on track. Maybe a little bit ahead of schedule. Have you ever tasted skin? No, I didn't, mate. At the moment, my time is spent on this project. That's a question, Wesley. Yeah, I'm going to go back and adjust all the models when they're done. None of them are actually fully finished yet. That's the thing. There's Sir K is probably the closest. He's just got to have a few little bits and bobs. None of the scenes are finished. Nothing's finished. Everything is still just in a state of 75% completion. Just so I can have a look at the whole piece holistically. Yep. So let me answer your question. Oh, thanks, Wes. What a champion. I am not. I was surprised how much I enjoyed Arthur and Mordred and the other goober, Percival. I thought they were going to be a real challenge. And they were, but in a good way. Like, it was really fun to try and practice evaluating non-metallic metals, and you know, well, this was a fun paint job. Having the elements of the fire and the other light. Yeah, it was a neat. Everything felt really good. So, Probably the thing I've least enjoyed. I don't know, I haven't really disliked any. I haven't really disliked any models. They've all been really quite good. If any, the one I've enjoyed least has actually probably been Merlin and Lancelot. Don't know why. Models are good. The one I'm most looking forward to is the Green Knight. Yeah, so there's still a lot left to do. That's all. There's just a lot left to do. So, but I figure I'll get all the models painted 75% of the way, and then we'll start looking at, the next steps. Getting the models, the bases at a place where they look like one cohesive story when it spins around. Yeah, I think I talked about this. I want it to feel like 5 different scenes, but that they are from the same universe. So I'm about to do some gold on this trick too, actually. Oh, that's a fun model. I did a version of that. The Green Knight is the last one after this. I'll tell you a story. A few years ago, I painted a commission for a very nice friend of a collector friend of mine. So my collector friend had said, "Hey, you should get this model painted by Big Deno. He's really reliable and really great." I was like, "Thanks, mate. That's awesome." So he sent me a model, and it was a model from a range called Alchemy. This is still a current range, but sort of pretty hard to come by. And it was a little 30mm model, and he sent me a full 75mm figure from Alexandros Models, which is called Three-Headed Indian God of something. So the reason I'm telling this story whilst Jan's sitting there panicking is I lost the sword tip from his weapon on the small model, and when I was like, "That's okay, I'm sure it'll turn up." So I started assembling the big 75mm, and it was incorrectly packaged, and it was missing the right leg. So I had to send old mate a message and say, "Hey mate, I've got to wait for this right leg to be shipped from Alexandros, and so I'm just going to put both of your projects aside until they turn up, and then I'll finish it." And unfortunately I didn't. Oh, yeah. I tried to sculpt a new sword blade, and it just looked shit house. So in the end, what I did is I put up a post in the Oz Painters Forum asking if anyone had a copy of it in Australia, and I was very fortunate. Sebastian Archer, a very good friend of mine, had a copy, and he sent it up to me in the post. And a few days later, it was supposed to have arrived, and it didn't arrive. It got lost in the mail. And so I then had to order this model directly from the alchemy manufacturer in France and wait 3 weeks for it to arrive, the whole time while this very nice man was waiting for me to get started on his pieces, having been told how reliable and quick I was. So, yeah. In the end, I got both of them done pretty quickly after I received the bits. He was pretty happy with the 2 models, but yeah, it was not a fun experience losing that piece, and I still have no idea where that piece is. Never found it. This thing's going to dead set look like Harry Potter. Huh. I started streaming an hour and 20 minutes ago. But I definitely did do some painting today and yesterday. Should be okay to hit it with ISO. He is a pretty good lacquer. I would probably say a shit brand of masking tape, yeah. I use painter's tape from Bunnings, which is like proper masking stuff. Professional trade painters masking tape. And I've also got this one, which is green, which is like super low tack as well. I normally just use the yellow. Indeed. If I remember rightly, I did it quite quickly. About 8 hours, I think, or maybe 6 hours. I just finished a really big project, quite similar to what I'm doing, but smaller scale. I just wanted to paint something very fun and very quick so that I could just be finished something. Go Tobes, happy birthday for yesterday, mate. I have one model left to be painted after this one, and a number of touch-up bits to go on everything. So, yeah, should be maybe another 2 weeks work, maybe 3. Yeah, feels like it's progressing at a nice speed. I do catch your drift. The big boy. This is the Antares Red, which is scale 75's colour. anytime you want to do a vibrant red, this is the first of my go-to colours. But it's not the last. As you'll see, we have a multi-part process for doing the red. Step 1. G'day White Wolf Ranger, thank you for the subscription. This month's draw is for some vampires. One of my friends, Darren, really wants to win them, and so he has decided that he wants to participate in the draw, and I said, if you win, I will allow you to have them, even though it looks dodgy as. As a general rule, I also prefer the, thank you Grey Man for following, I also prefer the Scale Fantasy range, more interesting range of colours for me, but there are 3 or 4 colours from the Scale range that I cannot do without. I believe they are the best versions of those colours. This red, Antares red, is the best red. Chimera red a very close second. Soul yellow is the best yellow, and then there is a colour called orange leather, which is a really nice colour. G'day, Benny. Thanks, mate. Yes, very, very cool event, mate. So what we're going to do now to really pump up the red is a little bit of the old fluorescent red, which is a Vallejo Model Air colour that I like a lot. So this is fluorescent red. Yeah, absolute banger, Antares red, absolute banger, Sol yellow. Two of the best versions of those. Sol yellow is the strongest yellow colour that I've painted with, bar none. Where is my fluorescent red at? There you are. This is Rojo Fluoro. Oh yes, that's actually another one. The orange is really good too. It's one of the colours I use for hair. See, I've only got 4 scale 75 colours that aren't inks out on my paint table. Those are the 4. So. Alright, so I normally do this through an airbrush, but no, we'll do it through an airbrush. I was just going to say, I had a little trouble with my orange, my fluorescent red last time where it clogged up a bit, but we'll see. Let's see how we go. But I'm going to mix it with a tiny smidge of the Antares red. So this will take several coats because it is translucent. I did a video on painting red on my YouTube, so if you want to see this process in more detail, just go watch that. Yeah, doing it again. Unfortunately, because of the way the fluoro red pigment is made or whatever, it tends to separate a bit in the jar, and that leaves little bits of dried pigment. And sometimes get in my airbrush, which is not ideal. If you're going to have a cinnamon whiskey, friends, just leave this to dry. I have returned. So as you can see, that red is very intense, very vibrant. So what we're going to do now is work on the reflections a little bit, so they look a little bit more correct. So the golden rule of OSL is that the reflections from this on various objects are never as intense as the light source itself. So you generally want to use a darker red. What we're probably going to do is actually use a contrast paint over the top of this, just to further smooth and darken and refine. So this is an interesting lighting. I had a similar problem with King Arthur's scene in that I didn't really want... Damn, I did that again. I didn't really want to just paint the light source correctly. The correct way to paint a light source, if you want to get super technical, there shouldn't be any colour anywhere else. Like if the light source is showcasing that much intensity, then the rest of the model shouldn't have anywhere near as much colour, or otherwise the light source wouldn't be anywhere near as intense. But I really want to paint these models because it's fun to paint the models and, you know, interesting colours and blah 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 blah. So I'm just sort of breaking the rules a bit. Following the rule of cool. should be able to do this scene pretty well. Well, I should be able to do her pretty well. If there's one thing I can paint, it's a glowing red light. Done it several times. Mind you, every time I've done it, I think I've improved on it. Alright, let's do some gold. Now I'm being very boring tonight, friends, and I apologise for that. Unfortunately, we will be having no stream on Wednesday night either. But I will return on Saturday or Sunday next week. This week? Next week? I know, I'm not worried, mate. Oh, I'm sure there will be, mate. I'm sure there will be. a weird song stuck in my head all day. Actually, I've had that song stuck in my head since Friday last week. It's from a band called At the Drive-In. Back when I used to work for Games Workshop. The dawning of this century. We listen to At the Drive-In, and I love them. One of my friends, who's still one of my friends to this day, at Games Workshop, and we used to really enjoy listening to At the Drive-In together. And I saw him on Friday, and we were just chatting about old times, and At the Drive-In pulled out the album. The whole album, Relationship of Command. Put it on his CD player thing, record player, whatever it is. And we thrashed around to that for the next little while. Yeah, glorious band. Absolutely love that album. It's been in my head for the last, 3 days. I got up to paint the other morning. I put the YouTube playlist of that album on. It was awesome. Anyway, the reason why I'm telling this story is there is a lyric in one of the songs which is dripping with drool from the nerves of this sentence. I think that's the lyrics anyway. Well, when we first heard it, it sounded like he was saying choking the life out of Monica Seles. And yeah, so every time I hear those lyrics now, I always think it's choking the life out of Monica Seles, and I think to myself, At the Drive-In, that is very harsh. Monica Seles, of course, being a tennis player. He got stabbed, if I remember rightly, by an angry fan. Jeez, when did that happen? That was a long time ago. Choking the life out of Monica Seles. Oh, we've got a Frozen video. It's unfortunate. Stand by. They really are a great band, aren't they? That is a great album. first song just goes absolutely ballistic right at the start. The first song's called Arc Arsenal. And it just goes off. I wonder. Sure she does. It does sound like that though, doesn't it? That's the only way I hear it. So my friend Ben, whom you would be familiar with from his attendances on this chat, has been running a Discord for a while. I think to myself, well fuck, if Ben can run a Discord, can't be that hard. And I remember that Ben isn't very popular, and running a Discord for a guy like that is probably like just messaging his mum every now and then. Hi mum. He was here before, I hope he heard that. If he didn't, I'll make sure I repeat it. Yes, his fiancée was participating in the chat while sitting 5 metres from him. And very good. And she even said that her favourite painter was Dave Colwell. Not her fiancé. Very good. I feel for you, mate, being his housemate. Actually, I know he'd be a pretty good housemate. I was a pretty good housemate. I used to get home, wave, "G'day mate," and then wander into my room and start painting. Till I trundled down to McDonald's to get my dinner. And I'd be like, "Hey mate, go get my dinner." sit in front of the TV in my bedroom, eat my dinner, go back to painting. Pretty good, actually. Pretty good lifestyle. You're a man after my own heart, green boy. Gold. Always believe in gold. Cass Sonalio, welcome. I hope I pronounced that correctly. Hi, Paul. Hi, Paul. Kenneth the Singh, are you talking about this particular model? Just so you know what you're getting into. So, yes, this is the entire piece that I am working on, and yes, I have created a lot of this. I didn't sculpt the models, but I have painted them and assembled the terrain. I haven't really decided on a cost yet, mate. It's not really been something I've thought about too much. But I don't imagine that it'll be cheap. Green Boy, I appreciate the offer. I'm gonna have to pass. Thank you, mate. A lot of elements that are starting to come together, but yeah, still a fair way to go, but we'll get there, probably. I mean, it'd be a shame to fall down at this stage. Well, Kenneth, I've spent. Here's how I price most of my models, mate. I obviously cover the cost of purchasing the models and all of the required plinths and all that sort of stuff. So in this particular instance, the plinths, the models, all of the materials that I've used for the base, the rotating table, everything, that came in at about $2,500, and then I normally charge an hourly rate for my work when pricing stuff, and my normal hourly rate is $30 an hour. So I haven't crunched all of the numbers yet, but I'm expecting probably between $6,000 and $10,000 US, including shipping. I know shipping's probably going to be like $500 to $1,000 as well, unless you're in Australia, in which case I will literally drive it to your house. That is a rough estimate. Yep, it's starting to work in many ways. Not all of the ways though. This next stage is often a very important one. Blocking in the shadows. Green boy, I think that was fairly obvious, but I appreciate you clarifying. Alright, probably gonna finish up soon, friends, but we might put everything together and see how it all looks. This is a Flesh Terrors Red contrast paint. That evidently I just spattered on the model. Have a good one, Alex. Thanks, mate. Alrighty, pretty good. Let's do a varnish and see what it all looks like together. See you, mate. Have a great day today. I think you're in Canada or France. I can't remember which one. Madagascar, maybe. I think it's going okay, mate. That's cool, rapid transit, I'm glad. Yeah, I think scene 5 is going to look pretty good. I feel like scene 4 might be the showstopper. See you, Voodoo. Yes, the magic is cool. That is true. All right. Let's try this. Let's put these two on their base. Have a look at scene 5. stand by a short moment. I doubt that very much, mate. I like the way that scene is looking, actually. So there's also a really good contrast from the backdrop to the models. Mouse. The models themselves sort of determine the composition. Pretty straightforward. You know, each model has a specific pose that I'm not really much chop at converting. These two being the exception to that. And so having the models decide the composition is basically how I approached it. So you look at the way the models are facing, you want them to be talking to each other or have a connection. So as an example, these two, Merlin is facing off this way and she's facing sort of forward, so I basically turned them to face each other and then did some reposing with their arms. the King Arthur scene. Again, it was just a matter of finding the right locations for all of the models. Building up the bases is just a matter of thinking about where you want each of the various, that's annoying, models to stand in terms of height, and then how you can adjust height as well. Get in your hole. Why won't you get in your hole? There we go. That's the plan, Mouse. That is the plan. Red on one side, blue on the other. My biggest concern with doing this was the fact that the Green Knight's one of my favourite models, and I was really worried about losing him in the magical effects. So I think where he's positioned is pretty good. The fact that both of the effects have some see-through elements is good. And yeah, he'll be fun to paint, I think. Adding fun OSL colours to wood tones and metal tones, and wow, that's going to be a challenge. Yeah, so this branch that I've got here is actually supposed to go just up here, but I'm actually going to have it sit just above this. You can't really see that, but like sort of there. Thanks, Joel Paul. So I have to do less work with the painting of the backdrop. Well, I think Morgana's colours are working fine. I probably need to lean a little bit more into the black, maybe add some blues, dark, evil blues. And yeah, just keep working on all of the bits and pieces of her. Nothing's finished on her. She's going to take a little bit of refining just to get it to be super smooth. And then we can add some red glow to the base, which should be fun. But again, we want to sort of try and keep that pretty subtle. I really want green to be the overarching colour of this piece, not the red and the blue. So we may need to really pump up the green saturation in some areas. Yeah. Alright, friends. She's got the higher value hair, so her white hair is really standing out. The skin tone's a similar value, but I haven't finished much of Merlin's chest area, nor have I finished the magic element. I only glued it in a little bit before stream, so once I do the magic element, I think, and get the rest of him done, he'll pop a bit more. Let me have a look at it outside of the light, actually, because you might be right. It's okay. It's okay. Alright, friends. Let us go raid a champion. Whom shall we raid today? And thank you for sticking with me tonight. I've got a the owl sits here. Can't really see my finger, but yeah, the owl sits here, and then there's 2 other birds on this scene as well. The birds? No, I don't think the birds will be magic. They'll just be normal. Who have we not raided tonight? As you all know, I like to try and raid people that are doing their very best work. Just chipping away. Hobby room. Nessa's painting at the moment. She's a champion. Nalind is painting some or building some models. Any preferences, friends? Indeed, Monica Sellers. I think we shall raid Nessa. Or Brush for Hire. Brush for Hire. Yeah, let's raid him. We haven't raided him for a while. Alright. So yes, as I said, friends, I'm not going to be painting again until next weekend. So, well, this weekend coming, Saturday or Sunday. State of Origin on Wednesday night. So I look forward to seeing you all then. If you join me, maybe we'll be close to finishing this off. Let's raid Nessa, friends. Have a great night, morning, day, etc. You're all champions.
El modelo que pintaron de Big Child. No, I can't believe it. No. Big Geno is raiding my channel. Big Geno nos está raideando, nos está saltando. Big Geno, thank you very much. Thank you very much, all you guys, for following this ride, my channel. This is a Spanish channel, but you are all very welcome. I can try to speak in English. It's like Morocco, I know, but I try. Muchísimas gracias por esos cheer bolser. Thank you very much for that beat, for this beats bolser. Hello, bueno, hola, Tete Rock. Hello, one Pasaurus. My Taylor is rich, dicen por aquí. Big Geno, buenos días. Buenos días. Hi, Nessa. Buenos nachos, dicen por aquí. Good morning, good evening, good